Good morning, 7 East. It's the moment you've all been waiting for all year long. We're finally here. We've made it to the Oregon Trail, part of our 7th grade curriculum. I'm excited. You all should be excited. It is the 29th episode of Free LEPRE Radio. We have now exceeded my age in terms of the number of episodes we've had. Making me feel old or young, I don't know which. We are on the air, and let's take a look at where we are for the week since we didn't have an episode on Monday. So today is Tuesday, May 5th. You are watching Free LEPRE Radio, episode 029. It is all about the Oregon Trail today. It is time to play some games. We have the Oregon Trail game. The link is on Classroom. Keep watching this episode if you want a quick tutorial about how to play. We also today have a rescheduled Google Meet since I had to cancel the one yesterday. Our meet today is from 12:30 to 1. I will be playing the game. I'll be helping you get set up with it. Be there if you need some help or just want to commiserate as a fellow traveler of the Oregon Trail, dealing with all the troubles and trials and tribulations that go along with it, whether it's dysentery, cholera, thieves, getting flooded, crossing a river, all that fun stuff. Here's our agenda for today. First, we're going to go over the Oregon Trail, the real version in history, because we got to do something educational today. Second, Memes of the Day, a special edition of Memes of the Day. It's coming second, not last in our show. But Memes of the Day is special today because we're going to be kind of keeping it topical, going over Pioneer, Frontier, and some things you learned about yesterday or today if you watched that video that the homework was based on, the assignment. And then finally, the Oregon Trail, the game version. We're going to actually go over the basics of the game, and I'm going to start a version of it to show you how it works. But first things first, today's big question. What was the Oregon Trail, and why do we bother learning about it? And the answer is, Oregon Trail, it's a 2,170-mile route stretching from the Missouri River to the Oregon Territory in the American Northwest. The trail was traveled by large numbers of settlers looking to start new lives in recently acquired territory in the American West. Last week was all about how we got all this land. Now we're getting into the question of, well, how did we actually settle that land? Oregon Trail is a big part of that. Continued. We learn about the trail for two main reasons. It helps explain how the American West began to be settled in large numbers, and two, the difficulty traveling the trail partly demonstrates why new inventions and an industrial revolution were needed to help America populate and maintain control over all of this new land. America has exploded in size. We're not going to control it unless we figure out a way to get people all over the land. And here's a map of the actual Oregon Trail. You'll see that it starts in Missouri. So you have, starting off from Independence, Missouri, and follow the dotted line. It'll take you to Oregon in the northwest. There's a lot of mileage, all on foot or on horseback. No cars, no trains, no planes. Definitely no boats crossing that land. Here are some facts that you might find interesting about the Oregon Trail. The main period of travel was from 1841 to 1869. Trail was approximately 2,170 miles long. For a comparison, it is 3,470 miles across the Atlantic Ocean from New York to London. So it's like almost 2/3 of the way there. So you can imagine how wide the Atlantic Ocean is. So going from New York to London, it's about 2/3 of the way there. Around 400,000 people total ultimately traveled the Oregon Trail, but less than 25% actually stayed in modern-day Oregon. So if you go back to the map, Oregon is only like the top left, or close to the top left. If you have the other three states, you have on the West Coast, you have Washington, Oregon, but people also settled in like Montana, California, Utah, Nevada. That's called the Oregon Trail because you end up in Oregon. And it would take 4 to 6 months to make the journey. That is impossible for us to kind of imagine today. If it's a 4 to 6 hour car ride, we get annoyed. Imagine 4 to 6 months. You're living out in the open air, roughing it. 4 to 6 months. That is crazy. It could be over half a year. So let's say today is May 5th. So let's say it takes 6 months. So we got June, July, August, September, October, November. It'd be close to Thanksgiving by the time you got there if you left today. Crazy to think about. And it wasn't easy. 1 out of 10 people would die on the journey, usually from disease or accidents. So you're taking your life into your own hands when you go out on the Oregon Trail. If someone told me I had a 10% chance of dying just going to work every day, that'd be kind of scary. Our memes of the day now, our second segment. hopefully you get a good laugh about some of the stuff that was serious business yesterday. But let's start with some SpongeBob. Yes, one of my favorite episodes, but very timely right now. It's not just a boulder, it's a rock. The pioneers used to ride these babies for miles, and it's in great shape. You wouldn't have a rock to ride either to the Oregon Trail. Kind of would slow you down anyway. Now the last three, I have to warn you, kind of on the morbid side of what the video was about yesterday. Many of you may have been shocked or scandalized by the whole incident involving the Donner Party. Well, apparently they made a video game, Donner Party 8. And you have retrofitted the Nintendo Mario characters. You have Mario with the D on his hat. He has a fork and knife. You have Peach. And you have Luigi. If you're asking where Toad is, it looks like Mario just ate. So maybe that's where Toad is. He's got his knife and his fork. 3, sorry. Your cooking is so bad the Donner Party wouldn't eat it. Ugh, that's the ultimate insult. The Donner Party ate each other, and if your cooking is so bad, that means people would resort to cannibalism before eating your own cooking. So Gordon Ramsay always has the top insults. And finally, still on the Donner Party, or we're still, not finally, we have more than this. So this is a rare photo of the ill-fated Donner Party colorized. And you can't find your way through the Sierra Nevada mountains. I know it's an older meme, but it still checks out. So what happens when you get lost in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Only one of these Ugandan knuckles will survive. So consuming the other numbers of them. And lastly, the Donner Party. I'm sorry, he's dead. Also the Donner Party licking their fingers because they just had a delicious meal. Yep, that's the Donner Party for you. Now to the Oregon Trail, our quick tutorial on how to get started in the game. So we're going to be playing the 1992 version. The original was 1985, but I could not find a version of that was not blocked by the school. So this one is unblocked, 1992 version. It's a little bit more complicated, but the graphics are a lot better, although not great by your standards today. Here are some basics for the game. How do you win? Simply put, you need to make it to Oregon alive. Those who arrive survive, alive, and you win. You get more points if everyone in your crew survives. There are a lot of dangers along the way that will slow or stop your progress entirely. Weather, disease, thieves, attacks, accidents, and so on. You need to manage your resources and make the decisions that allow you and your crew to survive the journey. Are there difficulty settings? Yes, the profession you choose determines how much money you start with, the difficulty, and point bonus at the end. The easiest profession is banker, the most difficult is teacher. Professions can also have special skills. So if you look here, I took these directly from the game itself. The easiest professions are at the top, hardest at the bottom, and you see what makes them easy or difficult. So as a banker, you start with the most money, $1,600 cash, but you don't get any bonus and you have no special advantages. Then as you go through, each profession has a certain amount of money and some skills or not. Teachers at the bottom. We unfortunately only start with $400 and we have no special advantages, but we do get the biggest bonus. So if you beat the game as a teacher, your score gets multiplied by 3.5 and less so depending on what profession you choose. Now this is suggested. You might want to write this down. This is suggested starting supplies to give you a fighting chance. There is a good chance you and your crew will be deceased on this journey. But this is basically the number of supplies if you want to have a good fighting chance to make it to Oregon alive. I suggest buying 18 oxen, 20 sets of clothing, 20 boxes of bullets, 3 of each spare part, 2,000 pounds of food, and if you add the cost of all this up, it equals $1,090. So if you were looking at the professions, there's only 3 professions you could start with. If you want to start with this set of supplies, you need to be a banker, doctor, or merchant. But if you want to give yourself a little bit more of a challenge, you can start with less supplies in a different profession. You just have to reduce the numbers of this stuff. But if you start with this, you should have a really good fighting chance of making it to Oregon. Last but not least, you get to name the people in your crew. That's one of the fun parts of this game. You get to name yourself, and you get to name the other 4 members of your Oregon Trail party. And for me, I knew who I was picking all along. Some of you might know my fondness of these individuals, but here they are. Team LEPRE. Guy Fieri, Chef Ramsay, Dr. Phil, Steve Harvey. This is my dream team of Oregon Trail companions. I really wish we could do this in real life. I think it would be hilarious. Let's get started, though. Time to play. So let me X out of the presentation. And I'm going to put in the link. And you should see when you play just like this, you're going to click Start. Waiting for it to load. Okay, so we see it's the 1992 version. Now, there is kind of an issue with this version of the game. The cursor doesn't exactly line up, as you're going to see. I'm going to have to do some fiddling with it. Okay, so you see how there's two cursors right here? You're going to want to click on the screen first, and you see how they don't exactly match up? You're going to want to go off to the screen a little bit. Come back in. You're going to kind of want to shadow it. You're trying to like line it up. It might take a few tries. There we go. So you kind of have to go out of the border and then back in to try to get it to set up. So you're going to click on Travel the Trail. And to just make it simpler, at this point, I'm going to click full screen. So full screen. And then the cursor issue should be solved. So you're about to begin a great adventure, traveling the Oregon Trail across the rugged landscape of North America. Covered wagon, pulled by a team of oxen, yada, yada, yada. Let's click New Game. So I'm going to start as a teacher. I'm going to kind of try to show you the highest difficulty setting. Let's see how far I get. Teacher, my name. Let's put Mr. LEPRE. Other people in my wagon. We've got first Guy Fieri. Flavortown being represented. Chef Ramsay. Dr. Phil. And Steve Harvey. Wait, I can't fit Steve Harvey on there. They don't have enough space for that. Let's just get rid of the E. Unnecessary E. Steve Harvey, there we go. So Guy Fieri, Chef Ramsay, Dr. Phil, Steve Harvey, the dream team of the Oregon Trail Companions. Click OK once you have the names of your people. And now it's going to take you to the shop. And you see the price of everything. Remember the recommended stuff I told you about? Obviously, at $400, a teacher's salary, I will not be able to afford that. It's also called Matt's General Store. That is not me, though. Always confuses me when I see that my name uses the General Store. So let's see. I'm going to buy... Let's start with 4 oxen. Sets of clothing. Let's say a pair per person. Let's get 5. Boxes of bullets. That's for hunting, by the way. There is hunting in this game. Let's say 4. Okay, so I'm at 138. Spare wagon wheels. I'm just going to do 1 spare for now. Pounds of food. Let's say 200. So I've spent pretty much half my money. I'm going to buy that. Okay, and then you got to pick when you want to go. Now this is important because remember on the slide before, earlier in the presentation, I said that it takes 4 to 6 months to get there. So you have to plan on making sure you aren't stuck there over the winter. So if we left today, we'd make it there by November. So that was May. I want to leave a little earlier. I think I'm going to leave in March. Actually, you know what? Let's risk it all. I want to leave in August. I'm going to see what happens. I don't think it's going to end well, but that's okay. I'm leaving in August. End of the summer. And this is what the game looks like. You have this whole interface, and it kind of takes you through it. So you're going to click Continue at this point. And it shows you on the map where you're going. And Chef Ramsay got lost immediately on the second day of the trip. I don't know how that happened. Chef Ramsay got lost. So now we're delayed in our journey. And the game continues to go. You can click time out if you want to pause and look at things. I wonder when we're going to find Chef Ramsay. I mean, this is insane. He's gone already. And then you can see up here the animation of our wagon. So we're reaching a river soon. Let's see what happens. Did we just abandon Chef Ramsay? I don't know. He's going to chew us out later for it. So we've reached the Kansas River crossing. Now at a river crossing, you have a few choices. So let's continue and see what happens at the river crossing. I can attempt to ford the river, which means just kind of walk across it. I can caulk the wagon and float it, take ferry for $5. Well, I don't have a lot of money, and I really don't feel like I need to float it. It's only 1.5 feet deep. I'm going to attempt to ford the river. I'm going to click ford the river. I've chosen to ford the river. Let's see what happens. Looking good so far. And did I make it? Yes, I made it safely across the river. Fantastic. Okay. Continuing on my journey. We're still traveling. You can see on the map where my cursor is, the red line. That's showing our journey. We got to make it all the way to Oregon. I found some wild fruit. Imagine my luck finding some wild fruit. I have reached the Big Blue River crossing. Okay, so I'm going to continue again. Actually, before I continue, let's take a look at some of the status of my group members. Current health, so I'm in fair health, Guy Fieri's in fair health, Chef Ramsay's in fair health, Dr. Phil, fair health, Steve Harvey, fair health. Okay, sounds good. We have 0 pounds of food, so I guess we ate all our food already. That could be a problem. Let's see. Look at the map for a second. Okay, that's where we are. Okay, I'm going to continue at this point. Let's see what happens. 1 feet deep. I like to live dangerously. I'm going to ford the river again. Let's see what happens. Can't get enough of winning. I've safely forded 2 rivers so far. This is amazing. Continuing on my journey. Looks like we're about 5 to 10% of the way there. It's August 19th, 1848. There's a house coming up. Steve Harvey has measles. Ugh. Steve. We don't want to lose you. We're going to rest up here and try to get Steve Harvey back in good health. Found some wild fruit. Dr. Phil has dysentery. Ugh, Dr. Phil. At least we made it to Fort Kearny. So you know what? We only have 5 pounds of food. Health is very poor. Let's go to the trading post. Or can I go to buy? Okay, the Fort Kearny General Store now. I can buy some supplies. Let's take a look. I want to get some food. So let me get 20. No, I got more than that. Let's see, how many pounds of food can I get? 200 pounds. You're running out. I'm buying 200 pounds of food. Now let's take a look at the status of my group members. 2 of our group are seriously ill. Dr. Phil with dysentery, Steve Harvey with the measles. Let's continue anyway. Oh my god. Steve Harvey died of measles. Press F to pay respects for Steve Harvey, people. This is very sad. Moment of silence for Steve Harvey. And let's go. Continue. So any bonus I would have had from having the entire crew survive has now been forfeited because we've lost one of our members. You know what? You can also change the pace. I want to click on pace. I'm going to make sure we go even faster. Pedal to the metal. We're going to a grueling pace, the fastest you can go. Of course, there's a problem with that. Chef Ramsay was bitten by a snake. And we have no water. Oh, Chef. That's unfortunate. Dr. Phil's well again. At least Dr. Phil recovered. Dr. Phil can work his medical magic on Chef Ramsay at this point. Guy Fieri has cholera. Everyone's getting sick except me, it seems. We've reached Chimney Rock. Great. I don't know what that means, but let's take a look at Chimney Rock. Is there anyone I can trade with? You could trade with computer players. What do I want to get by trading? Pounds of food. Let me get 50 pounds. Let's see. Sorry, but nobody here has got 50 pounds of food to spare. Okay, I'm sorry, bargain brand Abe Lincoln. Can I hunt instead? Okay, so hunting is not allowed near Chimney Rock. I guess it's unfortunate, but if you were hunting, you would click on the hunt icon, and you have to hunt animals, and that adds to your food supply. Okay. I guess I'll continue. And we see the progress I'm making with the red trail. Bad water. Not something you want to hear. Bad water. No water. I guess is bad water worse than no water? I don't know. Chef Ramsay's well again. Glad to see you recovered from that snake bite. Reached Fort Laramie. Awesome. Let's continue. Let's just see what happens. I like to live dangerously. Guy Fieri. Oh my god. Guy Fieri died of cholera. Moment of silence for Guy Fieri. And we're off. No grass for the oxen. That's going to be a problem. My oxen are probably going to get tired. No water, which seems to be a recurring trend. We've been on the journey for over a month now. We're into September. An ox is sick. Really? After losing Steve Harvey and Guy Fieri, an ox is sick? Looks like we're almost halfway there, though. On a shoestring budget, I'm doing pretty good. I had a wagon wheel break, but we're able to replace it from supplies. That's what happens when you get the spares. Chef Ramsay now has cholera. And he made it to Independence Rock. Big news. I wish we could add Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to our crew at this point, but we can't. We're only at Independence Rock. Let's keep moving. This train does not stop. Native American gentleman helped us find some food. Awesome. Still no grass for the oxen. No water. It is now officially fall. We've passed summer. Bad water or no water. I still don't know which is worse. No grass for the oxen. South Pass. Not South Park. We reached South Pass. Let's continue. I'm taking the shortcut to the Green River. Like I said, living dangerously is my thing. Danger is my middle name. Dr. Phil has cholera. I thought he already had cholera. Or something. Oh, he had dysentery. He had dysentery, now he has cholera. You think being a doctor, he could kind of fend this stuff off. An ox died. Chef Ramsay is well again. I guess, I don't even know what he had. Bad water. Traveling the trail. We're almost at that river. Chef Ramsay has a fever. That can't be good. Green River crossing. You must cross river to continue. The river is currently 400 feet wide and 20 feet deep. I'm a risk taker. I'm a trailblazer. I'm going to ford the river. Here we go. No! Okay. Everyone in my wagon has died, and I lost 2 oxen. Now, what does that mean? Everyone in your party has died. Many wagons failed to make it all the way to Oregon. So press F to pay respects to me, Dr. Phil. Or was it Dr. Phil already dead? I can't even remember who was alive or who was dead at this point. I guess Chef Ramsay and Dr. Phil were still alive, now longer, so we died of drowning. That is where our story ends. Now, hopefully you make better choices than I did, and you have a much safer and much more successful go at the Oregon Trail. This is just me showing you how to play the game. At the Google Meet, we'll try to play it in person if you're there. But it's kind of fun, kind of funny. Looking forward to seeing what you all have in terms of your experiences playing the game. So I'm going to hit OK. And it is taking me out. Okay, so back to the title screen. Let me hit escape. Back to Free LEPRE Radio. Time to play. Well, apparently it was time to die, because I died. And my entire crew. That's going to do it for this episode of Free LEPRE Radio. I had a lot of fun narrating my experience. I might do another Let's Play tomorrow and try to successfully and seriously play the game to make it to Oregon. Let's see what happens. Until next time, this is Mr. LEPRE signing off from this edition of Free LEPRE Radio.